welcome to my studio. I'm Jessie and this is the Knit Up and Dye podcast, episode 120, Nothing to See Here. As always, I'm going to start with my thank yous. A special thank you goes out to all of my subscribers, both new and ongoing. What you see here is all about you guys. I love you. I'm always looking to hear from you about what you want to see and hear, so feel free to drop me a line anytime. Hello and welcome goes out to Amanda. Thank you for adding me to your day. Special love and thanks go out to Monica, Nancy, Rachel, Leanne, David, Donna, Betty Ann, Amy, Tara, Diane, Allison, Barbara, Adriana, Wayne, Patricia, Lisalette, Cappy, Jorge, Kath, Benty, Christy, Needsy, Charlotte, Roseanne, Linda, Marie, Scott, John, Kate, Janet, and Terry. Much love goes out to my Zoom family, Robert, Juanita, Paula, Brian, Katie, Eve, Jamie, Jen, Elizabeth, Shirley, Roz, and Nicole. I love you guys. A hello and welcome goes out to all of my patrons. You honor me, you make this possible. And I just want to say real quick, if I call out your name, it's because you're important to me and I love you and I enjoy the time and interaction that we have. And if I didn't call out your name, I'm sorry. You simply fell off my radar or I forgot that we talked. And that doesn't mean that I love you any less. Send me a message and I'll put you right back on my roll call. But it is really important to me to thank you every time, because saying thank you to people is so important. Make sure the people in your life know how much you value them. Let's dig in. This is a knitting podcast. What have I been knitting? Well, I haven't talked to you guys in weeks and I'm sorry about that. It took me longer than I expected to restabilize after my trunk show. Just came back to a whole lot of crazy in my world and I was really tired and needed to get back to normal before I could sit down and do this again. But I've done some knitting. I named this episode Nothing to See Here because I have really screwed up in a lot of ways. One of the projects that I had been knitting was the Enveloping Baby Cardigan by Elizabeth Felgate. Wonderful pattern, adorable pattern, well written. Unfortunately, I finished the pattern. I got it all done. The sweater came out really cute. Unfortunately, I wrapped it all up because it's a gift and I totally forgot to take any pictures of it before I did that. I just got so excited and I sewed on the button and made the little loop for the clasp and I showed people that I was hanging out with, but I failed to take any photos before I wrapped that all up in tissue paper, which does not unwrap nicely, and packed it all away with a lovely card. It's a gift. It is going to the recipient, I believe, at the end of this week, I think, is the baby shower. I'll try to get pictures at the baby shower. But alas, I didn't take any photos and I am really frustrated with myself about that because I do try to keep my projects listed on Ravelry so I can reference back to them. It was an enjoyable knit, it was a fun knit, it was an easy knit. I would do it again if I had another baby sweater to make. I did knit it in the 1 year size and I used a loops and threads, I believe it was Charisma in Heartbeat. It'll all be in the information down below. The yarn was perfectly fine to work with. I enjoyed it. It was nice and soft and I think it's going to be very durable for a toddler running around. I hope to get you guys photos of that. I can't believe I did that. Just one of those silly, overexcited kind of things. I have also been working on another project which I was really excited about and I took a lot of photos of and I was enjoying it. It was something that I started as part of my trunk show. It was a project I started as a result of going to Unwound for my trunk show. I was lured into buying yarns and starting a new project. And the further I got into it, although it's beautiful, and I very much enjoyed it, and I had originally thought it was going to be for me, it became very evident that this was going to be a gift for somebody else. And so I'm not showing it because you never know who the recipient is and you don't want to spoil surprises. So it's actually blocking right now, and I'm just delighted with how it came out. I suspect I'm going to make another one for myself in the very, very near future. I need to dig through my yarn stash and determine what I want to knit it with. And I'm really encouraged to try some new colors for myself, for my personal palette. Our colors change as we age, and I'm finding that I'm enjoying how I look in some colors that I don't usually use. So I think I'm going to pull maybe a dark eggplant and a couple other colors and cast on another project in that for myself. That one, obviously, if I'm knitting it for myself, I'll show it to you guys, but gifts I like to keep kind of secret, unless it's like a baby shower gift. And anyway, I have also started to knit myself a pair of socks. There was a death in the family, in the sock family. So I generally have socks that I sleep in, and quite unfortunately my dog was ill in the night, and I got up to help my dog in the night, and well, there had been an accident, and there are just some things you cannot wash out of wool, and the socks had a hole in them as well. They're my bed socks, I don't care. But this was their demise. I drew the line, those were thrown away. So I need a new pair of bed socks. That was my intent. I cast it on thinking I was going to make a new pair of bed socks, but they're so pretty that I think I'm going to finish these as regular socks for myself and make a different pair of bed socks. I decided to cast on using one of my own yarns. I'm using my newspaper and coffee yarn, and it is really pretty. I have never actually worked with the colorway. It's a colorway that I've dyed for a couple of years now. Here it is caked up. It's really pretty, and when you knit with it, it does a neat spiral around, and I'm not sure if the camera is going to get this in the current lighting conditions in here. I don't have my spotlights on because it's so bright coming in through the skylight. But I'm knitting a pair of socks, and I'm playing with a new pattern idea, and I'm using this particular yarn, and they're so pretty. I think I'm just going to knit this up and use these for my everyday socks, which means, of course, that I'll need to cast on another pair of socks for bed socks. But my bed socks, I like to knit with a heavier gauge yarn anyway. I don't know why I cast on a fingering weight thinking they were going to be bed socks. I generally knit with a DK or a worsted for socks that I'm going to sleep in or that are house socks, and that's clearly not that. So there's going to be a plethora of socks. Many of you just went, what about your squircle socks? Yes, I know. I need some time to sit down and really get my head together on that. There's so many details to get that tutorial together that I'm really struggling with it. But it is still on the radar. I am still working toward that goal. I have also been knitting, quite feverishly actually, on my How to Eat an Elephant blanket. I wanted to get back on task with that. Sorry, I'm reaching for it. I had been kicking through my Ravelry and discovered that I had not knit much on it this entire year. I really had done some Christmas knitting on it last year, and then it camped. And part of the reason it camped is because of the project bin that it's in. I have this awesome project bin that my mom made for me. It's got a drawstring top on it, and it's a great big basket that all of my bits and bobs of yarn live in for that blanket. And the blanket fits right in the top too, and I close it up, and then I forget about it. I don't even see it because there's not physical knitting sitting out anymore. So I'm making a habit, and all of my evening knitting, unless I am very project oriented, like deadline oriented, is about this blanket. And so I've really rededicated to it, and I've really been doing all of my evening knitting this way. And I got almost an entire column done. I am on the last square on a column. And let me see if I can orient myself here. There it is. So the last time I saw you guys, I had one little square that I had worked on, and there's my progress keeper right there. And since then, I have done this one, and 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 I've started the last one in that column. I'm so excited about it. I'm trying to average one a night, which is still insane. I'm still insane. And in doing this and in laying it out and reviewing the project, I realized that initially my goal had been to do like a king size blanket, which I don't recall a head injury. I don't know what I was thinking. But I laid it all out and I measured it and got a really good sense of its gauge, how many squares is what size. And I did some math, and I went and I measured my bed, which is a queen. I don't know why. It's not like I'm ever going to actually put it on my bed. I don't think. Maybe I will. I don't know. I don't have a solid plan, clearly. And that's okay, because after I did the math, I realized that I was basically making a blanket that was 5 feet square. And 5 feet square is not a true queen size. It's not a king, but it's clearly not a true queen. A true queen is 5 by 6. So I redid the math. And although I originally had a goal of something like 572 squares, I think that's what it was, I don't recall. The math it's all up on my Ravelry project page. Feel free to pop over and take a look. The formula for the blanket is there as well for you. But ultimately, I need to do another whole foot in length to be a queen size blanket. I have tons of time to make my decisions and to commit to this. Tons of time, because I'm about 30% of the way there. I love this project, and as much as I could easily turn this into just a lapgan or an afghan for my sofa, I really think I do want to go to the full queen size. I think that would be just epic. It would be beautiful. It would be a wonderful, wonderful piece. It would be an heirloom piece. It would be something that I would have all my life. That would definitely outlive me as well. Why not? If you're going to do something, do it all the way. Go do it right. Go to the end of it. Will I have this blanket done in the next year? I would like to see it. I'm setting a goal. I started it when I was 43. It's been a couple years. And I recognize the amount of time it's been since I started it. And I recognize that I'm 30% of the way there. So I have this crazy idea that I could finish this before I turn 50. Ta-da! So I'm setting this goal. God, I can't believe I'm this old. I'm setting this goal to complete my blanket before I turn 50. I think that's reasonable. That gives me several, okay, only a couple years. But looking at how lax I've been and how easy it is to do a square a night, 3 nights a week, I could get this done. I think, I believe, I hope. So, either way, cheer me on. I need the encouragement. I need the reminders. I need the guilt. 7 years to hand knit on a US, is it a 2 needle with fingering weight? I think this is a 2. Maybe it's a 4. Can I see? Let's be honest here. Let's really look and see if we can tell. It is a US 2 needle with fingering weight, a queen size blanket. It's an accomplishment. It really is an accomplishment. But it's gorgeous. Who wouldn't want to do that? Look at that. It's gorgeous. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And my goal is to have it done when I turn 50. I didn't say the moment I age to 50, anytime prior to 51 is still when I was 50, right? Okay. So I've got a safety net in place. It's ludicrous, I know. Just work with it. So I'm actively working on this, and it is of size, and who knows, maybe I will come to my senses sometime prior to my 50th birthday and go a little bit shy of a queen size. Yeah. That having been said, I had knit the Brickyard Sweater by Elizabeth Doherty, and I have been wearing that sweater a lot. As Monica likes to remind me, thank you Monica, I asked for sweater weather, and boy did we get it. It has been cold, and I don't handle the cold well. That's a kind of a chunk of why I moved from Maine to New Mexico. Once I'm cold, I really struggle, and I'm sure that this is adrenal and thyroid and all kinds of other things, but I really struggle to get warm again. And so sweaters are very, very important to me. But I have been wearing the heck out of that sweater. I'm wearing it at least once a week to work. And I love it. I really love it. So I'm thinking very, very strongly that I want to cast another one on in the very, very near future. I have some yarn in the same base. It's a different color, and I think I'm just going to modify it. When I knit mine, my row gauge in the body of the sweater was stronger than the row gauge that was called for. And so it's considerably longer. I didn't add to the length of it, but it's considerably longer than the sweater was prescribed for, which is perfect. It's a tunic and I can wear it with leggings, and I love that. But I think I'm going to knit it again, exactly as prescribed, until I get down to the body. And then I'm just going to knit it straight. I'm going to skip the increases that are in the body, and I'm going to knit it straight and shorter. And just have another casual sweater that is more hip length rather than thigh length. Because I love it, and it was so well written and so easy, and I've got all my markups on the pattern already that I should be able to breeze right through that. I know, now I'm talking crazy. I'm going to finish a queen size blanket, and I'm going to knit another sweater, and I'm knitting socks, and I'm building a tutorial, and I've got bed socks I need to knit, and I'm going to knit myself another of the mystery project that I'm not showing you guys because there's nothing to see here. And oh yeah, I had crocheted one of these. I'm not crocheting any projects currently, but I had crocheted Through the Clouds by Rachel Newen. And I bought yarn. I have 4 skeins of yarn set aside to make myself another one in peaches and corals with little hints of red. And I'm going to do one of those. I haven't cast that on yet. I'm not sure when I'm going to cast that on, but Are you as passionate about your knitting and crochet as I am? I clearly have an addiction. I love this. I can't get enough of it. What I really need is more time. Checking my list here. So I've talked to you about this, that, and the other thing. I really think that I need to ball up the yarn for my next Through the Clouds because that was so pretty and it really was an enjoyable crochet. I need to mess around with it just a tiny little bit. There's one bit on here that I'm not 100% happy with, and it may just be a blocking thing, but I don't know. It seems to peak at the center top. I don't know. It doesn't look as weird to me as it did before. Maybe it just is a blocking thing. Maybe I need to block that out a little bit more. I would love to figure out how to do a different shape triangle with that, but I have not found any sources of that yet either, so it'll be as prescribed or as close to that as I deign to stay. moving on, acquisitions. I had a number of acquisitions recently. When I went to my trunk show, I was gifted, I had been gifted previously, but I hadn't received as of yet. Barbara Brunel made this amazing hat with my In a Pickle colorway. Is this not cute? I just adore this hat. This is so cute. I haven't worn it, even though the weather's been cold and I've been wearing hats. I haven't worn it yet because I wanted to show it to you guys before I started to muck it up with the real world here. I think this thing is so cute. I just love this hat. Barbara, thank you. Barbara had made this hat out of my colorway, and she'd used this for a tutorial to do the Mobius cast on and then make a hat with these cool tendrils. This is just monster awesome. I love this hat so much. And she gifted this hat to me, and I'm so grateful for it. I love this hat. This is probably my favorite hat ever. I can't think of another hat that will be my go-to hat like this one. And I'm so honored. Thank you for letting me have your class sample. Thank you for gifting this to me. This is super cool. So acquisitions. I have a new hat, which Precious here is going to guard for me for a minute. I also got some yarn while I was on my trunk show. And this is kind of a sneak peek for you guys, because the shop released the yarn very, very briefly in coordination with my trunk show, and then they pulled it back, and they are releasing it, having its grand release for Black Friday. So if you are in the Unwound area and you didn't get to my trunk show, make sure that you go, because they have this awesome, awesome new yarn. It's bulky weight, and it is super cool. This is Pettibone Beach. This is the Barron Island Bulky. I love this. I love this. The bulkies are so sweet. I bought 2 skeins of this. I have no idea what I'm doing with it, but I had to have it. And I also got their, I have to look at it, Midnight Mississippi colorway as well. So I have all kinds of this to work with. This is in coordination with my bulkies. My bulkies just hit my shop, the leftover bulkies from my trunk show. And I have knit one hat with this. I love working with these bulky merinos. They are squishy and soft. The hand on them is beautiful. And I bought these to coordinate with a couple of colorways of my own. And I have no idea. I need to really dig around and see if I can find a bulky sweater that I could knit, because I think that would be fun and pretty. And so I have bulky yarn. I don't usually add yarns outside of fingering and worsted to my personal stash. Bulky's kind of a stretch for me, so I'm excited to have that. I was also gifted this really beautiful colorway. I have a thing for teals and limes, don't I? And it's known, obviously. I received this gift. This is just gorgeous, and it's one of the most unique blends I've ever seen. The maker is T&H Fiberworks. It's hand-painted yarns, rovings, jewelry, and more from Heather Herziger. I'm probably destroying your name. All the information will be in the down bar. This is Heather's Folly is the base. Fairy Fluff is proudly dyed in Omaha, Nebraska. 438 yards out of 100 grams. This blend is, ready for this? This is unique. I'm really excited about this. 50% alpaca, 25% silk, and 25% linen. And a fingering weight. The drape on this is just gorgeous. There's a little bit of a halo to it, a little bit of a fiber to it, but it's light and airy and squishy, and at the same time heavy and drapey, and I have no idea what I'm going to make with this. I have to come up with something wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And although some of you are going, wait a minute, Jess, you're allergic to alpaca. Yes, I am allergic to alpaca. I'm not having any sensitivity issues with this at all. And I don't know if that's because it's protected under the silk and the linen blend in, because that's 50% of it itself. I'm not having any sensitivity issues with this. I think this is gorgeous, and I really am looking forward to working with it. And I'm quite sure that if I were to work with this and something else, thereby reducing the overall alpaca exposure even to a lower percentage, I could readily wear this against my skin. I really have not had any allergic reaction to it at all. So I think I can't wait. Ludicrous, right? I have so many things I want to do. All right, moving on. I also received yarn. I had told you guys that I was part of a yarn club that Supernatural Yarn, Shannon Shaw, was doing. She did the Princess Bride as a theme. And this is my third installment. I came home to my third installment. I love her colorways. I just adore them. These two are so beautiful together even. So I received Have Fun Storming the Castle. And my name is Inigio Montoya. And they're gorgeous. Look at this. I think this one might be part of that mystery project that I'm going to cast on for myself, because I'm thinking I want to do it in deep eggplants, and I think this would be lovely blended in, because it's going to take like 3 different colors. But I'm not going to tell you about it until after Christmas, because it's a Christmas present. And if I show you the one I'm making for myself, then you know what I'm making for the other person, and then the other person has a clue, and yeah. And this is the other one, Have Fun Storming the Castle. It has this beautiful rusty kind of red in it, and then it's got speckles with little bits of navy and black, and then it's got this lovely deep burgundy wine color. They almost work together. I think that if I were doing like 2 held together, it would be really interesting, or even, this word never came out of my mouth, brioche. I'm terrified of brioche. I'm not going there yet. I've tried double knitting. While I can do it, it's not instant gratification enough for me. And I feel like I'm going to have the same response to brioche, where it's a technique that I could do, but I'm just not going to get the bang for my time buck out of it. That's me, that's my personal thing. That's about me having a full-time job and a full-time business and a full-time life, and only one life to actually do all the 3 full-times with. So I'm a little bit terrified, but I think these would be really, really cool together. There's something very, I don't know, they just work together in my head somehow. I don't know why, because when I look at them separately, they don't. But yeah, y'all know I'm insane. That's why you keep coming back, right? So that is knitting, crochet, and acquisitions. Dyeing. I'm taking a little bit of break from dyeing, other than wholesale orders that are coming in and specialty orders coming in. I have a ton of stock in my shop, and I really need to make some room before I add any new colorways to my world. That having been said, as ideas come to me, I'm jotting them down, and I'm coming up with some new ideas. I think we may end up doing a club in the very near future, where there would be a series of colorways that were theme-based that you would have opportunity to sign up to receive one a month on. New year at the earliest, but I will keep you posted as that starts to shake loose. My website, Dye Monkey Yarns, the website has had a ton of stuff added to it. Anything that was left over from my trunk show, you can now find there. There's one base that I haven't added there yet. The principal photography has been done. I just need to upload the materials. It's about time. But everything else is up and available for purchase. We have some new cool products as well. I have these adorable new tool wallets. Velcro closure, nice pocket, sizable enough for like your snips, your tape measure, everything in there. And then this really smart cross-grain ribbon bar that comes across here for your removable stitch markers. Pop over to Dye Monkey Yarns. They're on sale currently for just $7, down from $9. These are custom made specifically for Dye Monkey Yarns by Harbor House Baskets. There's a variety of fabrics. with coordinating inner fabrics. They are just cute and smart. They're lightweight, but they've been stabilized really, really nicely with a fabric stabilizer that makes them not only flexible but firm, and it holds your product and your items very neatly and nicely. I love these. I'm really excited about them. I'm really excited about the opportunity to host these in my shop. New item, check it out. I also have some kits coming, hopefully. I'm going to be doing some kits of my own designs and yarns, but I've been working closely with a new designer that's out, Jamie McCanless, and I'm very excited to have the opportunity to work with him. He just recently released a pattern, Tilting at Windmills. It's a scarf pattern. It's actually 2 scarf patterns bundled into one. It's ingenious. 2 different shapes, a lot of bang for your buck. The pattern's available over in Ravelry. I'll insert some photos for you here. Check out Jamie. His work is really, really ingenious, and I'm excited to be in talks with him for an opportunity to maybe get some kits out to you through my website. We're working on that, details and that sort of thing, but keep your eyes peeled for that one. And we've got lots of other new products slowly hitting the shop. I'm very excited to see what else we're going to be doing. I know that I'm in talks with 2 other artists to do more expansion of other items, other tools, other patterns and kits and projects. So be checking out the site. There's a lot going on there. The trunk show. So as many of you know, in October I went up to Unwound in La Crosse, Wisconsin. I had a wonderful trunk show up there. It's always so much fun. It's like going home to family, and just seeing everybody that I get to talk to people on Instagram and Facebook and through email, but being in person is so much more, and I just have so much fun when I'm there. I got to teach a class while I was there on colorwork, and I had a lot of fun in the class. I hope that I inspired and really got people thinking about adding colorwork to existing projects or even designing their own. It was inspiring for me, and I'm thinking differently about projects as well. Coming up, okay, so with regards to my shop, I missed telling you about this earlier. I'm going to have a giant Black Friday sale this year. It's going to be the deepest discounts you have ever seen on my shop. No coupon code will be necessary. Just pop in and you should find some really phenomenal deals. Patrons will get early access, and there will be a special coupon for patrons only, good for Thanksgiving Day only, that will be well worth the discount as well. That is, I think, everything I have to tell you about knitting and crochet, and I haven't touched my spinning. I think I'm going to try to get myself into a new habit where I've got some time. When I'm processing my podcasts, it all has to go through an edit, and a lot of that is you have to play it back. And as much as I enjoy doing this, I don't necessarily enjoy listening to myself do this again the second time. So I'm going to try to employ spinning when I'm doing my editing, assuming nothing else goes awry in my household. That having been said, I haven't spun in 3 or 4 weeks. In fact, I'm looking around. I don't even know where my spindle is. Oh, no, I do know where my spindle is. It would be right next to my chair where it belongs. And I had been working on this wonderful braid, this bat nube, and have some work done. A little bit of work done. Light in here is getting shifty, so it's hard to see. But I'm going to try to incorporate that, and that'll give me at least weekly practice, theoretically. With all that, the only other real life thing that I've had is I purchased a new coffee maker today. The Coffee Armageddon Nightmare continues. We thought we had it resolved. We have, do you care? We have been through 2 coffee makers in the past 6 months. What is happening with these coffee makers is the water is coming out of the pump and into the filter and coffee area very, very fast, probably at the normal proper speed. However, it is not filtering through the filter sometimes at all. So it'll overflow and go up over the filter and take coffee grounds with it, and I often have them in my teeth. Sometimes so much so that if we turn it off and walk away, that filter will not drain, even left overnight. This has been a huge source of frustration every morning for my husband. He is in charge of the coffee. He does this. He's employed a number of different techniques. He has bought different filters. We have changed out the filtered water that we use. We have changed out the grind of the coffee. We have done everything that we can think of to resolve this issue. I have talked to customer support. I have had a number of different techniques, including adding salt, pre-rinsing my filter, reversing the filters, you name it. We've tried it. I would like to extend a very, very serious and heartfelt thank you and gratitude to everyone who donated money towards my crazy coffee experience here. To everybody who's bought me a cup of coffee at work, thank you. We have bought a new coffee maker. We bought a new coffee maker. We bought that today. It is still in the box. My husband has had an extremely frustrating day. Today the coffee in the old machine not only overflowed the filter, but opted to overflow the counter as well. So he's out right now on a motorcycle ride, coming to peace with the universe again. And when he comes home, we will unbox the coffee maker, and we will have some late afternoon coffee and hopefully experience joy with said new coffee maker. The new coffee maker has a 90-day return policy, no questions asked. And if that means that tonight I'm boxing that baby up and going back to the store, then that is going to be what happens. But we are going to continue this odyssey until we find a coffee maker that works. Those of you who are saying, just get a Keurig. My husband has some fundamental issues with the Keurig K-cups as being wasteful. I have explained to him that there are reusable K-cups. He almost caved on this theory today when we were shopping for coffee makers. We even looked at a coffee maker that was a dual, that had a pot on one side and a K-cup style maker on the other side, and still he opted to go to a straight pot coffee maker. This one has a permanent filter and has the option of using, of course, paper filters as well. We're trying everything. This is the most ridiculous thing in the world. I've never been so frustrated by an appliance in my entire life. I cannot believe that we're having difficulty making simple pots of coffee. This may deteriorate further. I'll keep you posted. I'm sure somebody is entertained by this. At the very least, we're trying very hard to resolve this issue, and nobody seems to know why this is happening. It's even happening over different manufacturers. I don't know. Release it to the gods, and I'm going to go and knit and de-stress. And with that kind of aggravation in your life, you don't even need caffeine. That's everything I have for you. This is my mad world, and really there was nothing to see here. There's no coffee and there's no knitting because I pre-wrapped my gifts, and I have gifts that I can't show you, and you get to see the blanket. I hope to talk to you all next week. I love you. I appreciate you. I Not sure why you keep coming back, but I'm glad that you do. Have a great week. Bye.